Most Americans imagine Cambodia completely wrong. Honestly, I did too until I moved here. After many years of living here, I realized the reality is completely different than what people in the West expect. Let me explain. This video is being filmed on beautiful Koh Rong Island, Cambodia. Chapter 1, media versus reality. Big thing is the poverty stereotype. A lot of the media will paint Cambodia as a poverty-driven country. Yes, there's a lot of poor people, but there's also a lot of middle-class people, and Cambodia is actually one of the fastest-growing middle classes in the world right now, believe it or not. That being said, no matter where you go, poor or rich, I have met the friendliest people ever right here in Cambodia. That brings us into safety fears. Cambodia is a very safe country. I've been to every square inch of this country, back alleys of Phnom Penh, the deep villages in the jungle, and I've never once felt unsafe. If anything, I felt very safe because people are so friendly, English is widely spoken, and I have lost track on all of the free dinners I've gotten from people on the side of the road that invited me in because I'm a Westerner. They want to know you, they want to meet you, and oftentimes you'll get a free beer and some dinner with their family, and that cannot be said for any other country in the world. The biggest crime you'll have to worry about is maybe a pickpocket in Phnom Penh, or a pass-out that overtakes another pass-out driver and gets his fare. Outside of that, Cambodia is extremely safe. Obviously, like any country in the world, including America, you want to use common sense when you're traveling. I feel safer in Cambodia than I ever feel in Chicago, New York, or Los Angeles. The chance of a mugging there is 100%. Chance in Cambodia, less than 0.5%. So Cambodia is safer than America by tenfold. Let's talk about infrastructure assumptions. Yes, Cambodia is a third world country, and yes, they have really no standard building codes. However, just like Thailand or any other country in Southeast Asia, somehow it works. You never see mass fires. You might see the occasional brush fire where people are burning trash, but that's about the extent of that. People automatically assume that you have a hole in the ground that you use the toilet with, and that's quite the opposite. If you guys have watched my previous videos, Western standard toilets are, well, pretty standard here. The bum gun is the way to go for all of you eco nuts out there. Toilet paper is rarely used. You will find it in your Western hotels, and occasionally you can buy it at the grocery store. However, the bum gun is hygienically superior to any toilet paper. How about that island? Wow. Electricity is very common here, everywhere. Major roads are paved, but there are still plenty of back roads to explore during the jungle excursions, and back road driving through the rice paddies, a great way to spend your day off from doing whatever it is you are doing. Cambodia has all of your Western creature comforts that you enjoy at home at a fraction of the price. The old outdated perceptions of Cambodia at war during the Vietnam War is simply just not true in modern times. I am living proof. Chapter 2. Cost of living misconceptions. As I mentioned in my previous video, cost of living for Americans in Cambodia. Cambodia is not just a cheap paradise. It's a place where you can enjoy many Western comforts, as I mentioned before, enjoy a very comfortable way of life and a comfortable living on a budget. The US dollar is used regularly with the Cambodian riel, and it is considered a dual currency country. Yes, lifestyle choices matter here. Some expats will drown their fears and sorrow at a local pub, 50-cent beers all night long, and do that daily, and that's their right to do. However, if you have a healthy lifestyle, you can enjoy peace of mind, a balance of work and life, exercise regularly. There's no grind to and from work every day in traffic. Life here is just slower in general, while working and playing all does not involve traffic, crime, and constant chaos and division like there is in the West. Once again, your spending habits will define your experience. If you continually live on Western food and you just can't give up those cheeseburgers, as I mentioned before, you might go broke sooner than later. If you can learn to assimilate into a Cambodian culture, as anybody does moving to a new country, you will find that your expenses will go a long ways and enjoy a nice balance of work and play, be it you're retired or working as a teacher or digital nomad. Your spending habits will define your experience. that brings us to chapter 3, safety and crime expectations. For anybody who's walked down the streets in Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, or any real blue city out there, yes, I said blue city, you know firsthand, even some of the big cities like Indianapolis in a red state, you know all too well, somebody's friendly to you on the street, you know exactly what they want. They're gonna scam you out of some money or ask you for a donation, right? However, in Cambodia, I've just never felt that. The friendliness on the street, well, it's natural and it is authentic. People are extremely friendly here, and they usually want nothing besides a hello and to give you maybe a little bit of a sample of their fresh local fruit for free. But just like anywhere in the world, common sense awareness is still required. Chapter 4, healthcare myths. Cambodia is still a very developing country, and healthcare is not equivalent by any means to healthcare in the West like America. However, there are many great healthcare options here in Cambodia, such as the brand new Singapore Regional Medical Center in downtown Phnom Penh. Pharmacies are readily available here and no prescription required. If you know what you need, they have many options for you. The typical types of prescriptions you will find here are typical that you would find through a doctor in America. However, you will not find major pharmaceutical brands here in Cambodia. You will find equivalents from everywhere from Japan, Singapore, among other countries, and all work just as good as they do in the West at a fraction of the cost. Overall, you can get decent dental care here. I pay $10 myself to get my teeth cleaned every 3 months, and they do the same job as they do in America at a fraction of the cost. No insurance required. An annual physical with no extra complications, just a basic physical as you would get in America, will run about $25, maybe $10 more for some blood test. Just check your sugar levels and everything else you might need. That's less than $40 for an annual physical. What many people don't realize is that Cambodia is largely a cash economy. And while be it major medical issues, you will probably need to fly to Singapore, Malaysia, or even Bangkok to get major surgery, or even back to your home country. You can still get decent health care for just everyday stuff like the flu or cold for relatively cheap and cash out of pocket. Wow, that is incredible. Most expats that I know usually go home to their home country for the big annual stuff that they got to get done, especially if they're older, like 60 years and older. Not to mention, you probably want to go home and see your family and tell them what a great time you're having right here in Cambodia. In Cambodia, you will not find spectrums and isms here as you do in the West. People are just normal here, just like they used to be in America. Have your expectations realistic when you come here for healthcare needs. And that's one of the biggest things people worry about before moving here to Cambodia. Healthcare, safety, daily living, and the reality of living right here in Cambodia. And honestly, that's one of the main reasons I wrote my book, Living in Cambodia, a step-by-step guide for living in Cambodia as expats. Because most mistakes people make happen before they ever even get on the plane and move here, believe it or not. Wrong expectations, wrong budgeting, and wrong planning. If you're serious about living here, moving here, retiring here, my book will walk you through the visas, cost of living, healthcare, and the realities. Anyways, that leads us into something most Americans are not prepared for. Chapter 5, lifestyle shock. Cambodia is, well, just slower. One of the biggest things you'll realize upon moving here is just a much slower pace of life. There's no daily grind. There's no rushing to work, fighting traffic, road rage. It's just friendly, everyday people. You won't just know your neighbors, you'll know the whole village. In America, I lived 20 years in a house, and I think I knew maybe barely one of my neighbors. Sad to say that, but it's true. Here in my whole village, I know everybody, without a doubt, and they know me on a personal level. Cambodia is much more relaxed on rules, regulations, and laws. You will find yourself in complete shock on the lack of traffic rules, lack of traffic police, among other things. My last trip home to America to see my daughter graduate college, in my rental car flying down Interstate 69 in Indianapolis, I saw a highway state trooper with a radar gun. I forgot all about those. Cambodia, they just don't exist. There's just really such a laid-back, peaceful life here. Crime is very low. Stress is non-existent unless you create it. But with that being said, there's always a trade-off. Less rules, less laws, more peace and tranquility, more time to think. Also can be frustrating for those of you that are used to Western standards like structured driving rules, red lights, stop signs that, well, they don't abide here. You may find yourself in complete shock or even frustration. However, you will quickly adjust if you learn to adapt to the way they work here. Your patience will definitely be useful here. And if you have none, you will learn to get some fairly quickly. Chapter 6, Cambodian culture and their people. The kindness and warmthness of the Cambodian people is just unreal. As I stated earlier, a very safe country, very friendly, and as a Westerner, they will instantly recognize you and say hello and welcome you to everything you do. Aside of the tuk that they bother the heck out of you with, they're just trying to earn their money. Outside of that, like I said, you will never meet more friendlier, more generosity than right here in Cambodia, including the dogs. As I watch the news of the West literally burning down with crazy division, I feel comfort knowing that in Cambodia, they call each other brother and sister, and they will call you the same way when you move here. You will be treated like one of them. And that to me is probably one of the biggest things I realized upon moving here. They don't have political division. They're not confused about which restroom to use. They're just friendly people, right, Bong?
Hello, good day.
See, I'm telling you, you can't go anywhere, guys, without meeting friendly people. That was impromptu, and they're just hello, you know? But also at the same time, they're largely a Buddhist culture, and it is just in their way of life here. And even though there are other Buddhist countries out there, I think what makes Cambodia so friendly is just not so long ago, they went through a bloody war in the 1970s. Most of you know about that. And I think that changed the reality for the people. So I think for Cambodian people, they just want peace, and they extend that to you as a guest in their country. While the children in America don't know what gender they are, here they wear uniforms in public school and private international school. It is national law. It is also national law that they learn English. That is why so many children here know English, as well as many adults. It's required. As a teacher in Cambodia, I can tell you that when I walk into the classroom, the students all stand up and say, "Good morning, teacher." And I'm not used to that because the children in the West, well, quite frankly, they're spoiled rotten. They don't know what war is. They don't know what hard times is. They stay inside all day. And here, the kids actually play outside. And I think that combined with just the overall nature of the country and where they've been and where they want to go, they know exactly what kind of friendliness they need to be. If you find this video helpful, guys, drop a like and a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, feel free to subscribe. Welcome to the Mahoney Travels family. Chapter 7, Poverty versus Happiness Paradox. Western assumptions versus reality, guys. Let's talk about that. As I mentioned before, I've been all over Cambodia, and I think a lot of you that's never even heard of Cambodia, and those of you that have, a lot of the image that is painted out there in the West is that Cambodia is like Thailand with a lot of bar girls, a lot of bars, while many countries in Southeast Asia do have that. Cambodia's image is not that of Pattaya. The reality of Cambodia is kind people, friendliness, openness, and a general sense of safety when you explore this wonderful country. This is the back alley here on Koh Rong Island off the main ramp. There's a sense of community and friendliness here unmatched anywhere in the world. I think a lot of that simplicity comes down to families still matter. Dads still interact with their children. Respect and loyalty is pretty common here, both in friendships as well as family. And the simplicity that drives that happiness can only be attached to the fact for a country who's lost so much. They value everyday human life, and respect is a part of their culture. Part of the sense of community that I have experienced here is I've made friends for a lifetime here. Cambodian people that if I don't see for a year and I go to their city and I say, "Hey, I'm in town, brother," they will stop everything and take time out to see me and even invite me to dinner with their family. That's how much the sense of community runs deep here. I cannot say that in America. I have a few friends in America that I've known for many, many years. And of course, they will always be my friends. But in Cambodia, I've made many, many friends. And so will you. That brings us to chapter 8, dating and social myths. Western fantasies are that Asian women are petite, and yes they are. Yes, they are small. But there's also this belief that Asian women are subservient servants and very submissive. Albeit, they're not that at all. Check out my video I just did about dating in Cambodia, the pros, the cons, and reality for more information on that. That brings us to chapter 9, who thrives and who struggles. The people that survive here in Cambodia are flexible, patient, curious, and low entitlement. And something to keep in mind, everybody, the people that struggle here are people that constantly compare Cambodia to the US, have rigid expectations and unrealistic fantasies. That brings us to chapter 10, the final reality check. Cambodia can be an incredible place for the right person, but it's definitely not for everybody. The biggest mistake Americans or any Westerner can make before moving here is they misunderstood the country. Guys, for daily updates, check out Mahoney Travels at TikTok and Facebook for daily Mahoney Travels, fun and adventures. Feel free to like and comment this video and let me know what your thoughts are. Are you thinking about moving to Cambodia? If so, why or why not? Until next time, guys, safe travels from Mahoney Travels. I'll see you guys right here in Cambodia.